Hey everyone, welcome back to Literate Lens. I'm so glad you're here today because we're about to dive into a book that honestly changed the way I think about my entire life. If you've ever felt stuck, like you're trying so hard but not getting anywhere, or if you've made a New Year's resolution that died by February, this one's for you. We're talking about Atomic Habits by James Clear. And trust me, by the end of this, you're going to see yourself and your daily choices in a completely different light. Before we jump in, if you love learning powerful lessons from books that can actually transform your life, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. We break down the best books so you can get all the wisdom without spending hours reading. All right, let's get into it. So imagine this. You're standing in front of a massive ice cube. It's freezing cold in the room, like -5 degrees. You're waiting for something to happen, but nothing does. The ice just sits there, solid and unmovable. Now someone slowly starts turning up the temperature. 1 degree, 2 degrees, 3 degrees, still nothing. The ice remains frozen. You keep waiting. 10 degrees, 15 degrees, 25 degrees. Still, that ice cube hasn't budged even a little bit. Then something magical happens. At 32 degrees, the ice begins to melt. Suddenly, everything changes. But here's the thing. It wasn't just that 1 degree that made the difference, right? It was all those degrees before it. Every single one of them was necessary, even though you couldn't see any results. This is exactly how habits work in your life. You go to the gym for a week, and you look in the mirror and see nothing. You study hard for a few days, and your grades are still the same. You eat healthy for a month, and you barely notice a difference. And this is where most of us give up. We think we're failing. We think it's not working. But really, we're just in that phase between 1 degree and 31 degrees. We're right there, so close to the breakthrough, but we quit before the ice melts. James Clear calls this the valley of disappointment. It's that frustrating gap between the effort you're putting in and the results you can see. And the reason most people never achieve their dreams isn't because they're not capable. It's because they give up in this valley. They stop right before the magic happens. But let me tell you something that's going to blow your mind. If you can get just 1% better every single day for a year, do you know where you'll end up? Not 1% better, not even 10% better. You'll be 37 times better than when you started. 37 times! That's the power of compound interest, but for your life. Now here's where it gets really interesting. We always think we need massive changes to get massive results. We say things like, I'm going to completely transform my life starting Monday. We create these huge, overwhelming goals. But James Clear shows us something different. He shows us that it's not about the goals at all. It's about the systems. Think about it like this. Imagine you've got a messy room, like really messy. Clothes everywhere, books scattered, just chaos. Now, you can set a goal to have a clean room. That's nice. But if you don't change the system, the habits that led to the mess in the first place, what's going to happen? You'll clean it once, feel great for a day, and then slowly, surely, it'll get messy again. The goal didn't change your behavior. But what if instead you created a simple system? Like every time you take off your jacket, you hang it up immediately. Every time you finish reading, you put the book back. These tiny, almost invisible actions, they change everything. Because winners and losers have the same goals. Everyone wants to be successful, get good grades, be healthy, be happy. The difference is in the systems, the daily habits. And here's something that hit me hard when I first learned it. Your habits are basically votes for the type of person you want to become. Every single action you take is like casting a ballot. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to win every vote. But if the majority of your votes go in the right direction, you win the election. You become that person. So when you go to the gym, you're not just working out. You're casting a vote for being a healthy person. When you write a single page, you're casting a vote for being a writer. When you study for 20 minutes, you're casting a vote for being a student who succeeds. It's not about the results of that one workout or that one study session. It's about what that action says about who you are. This is what James Clear calls identity-based habits. Most of us try to change from the outside in.
We focus on what we want to achieve. But real change happens from the inside out. It starts with who you want to become. Don't say, I want to read more books. Say, I want to become a reader. Don't say, I want to run a marathon. Say, I want to become a runner. Feel the difference? One is about doing something. The other is about being someone. Now, let me tell you about the 4 laws that make habits actually stick. Because knowing this stuff is cool, but actually doing it, that's where the real magic happens. The first law is make it obvious. Our brains are like autopilot machines. We do so many things without even thinking about them. So if you want to build a good habit, you need to make it so obvious that your brain can't miss it. Want to drink more water? Put a water bottle on your desk right in front of your face. Want to practice guitar? Don't hide it in the closet, leave it out where you can see it. Want to eat healthier? Put the fruits at eye level in your fridge and hide the junk food in the back. James Clear talks about something called habit stacking. It's genius. You take a habit you already do every day, something automatic, and you stack a new habit right after it. Like, after I pour my morning coffee, I'll write down one thing I'm grateful for. Or after I sit down for dinner, I'll tell my family one thing that happened today. You're using an existing habit as a trigger for a new one. The second law is make it attractive. Let's be real, we're more likely to do things that feel good or exciting. So you've got to make your habits appealing. One way to do this is by pairing something you need to do with something you want to do. Want to exercise more but love watching Netflix? Only watch your favorite show while you're on the treadmill or doing some stretching. Your brain starts associating the workout with the pleasure of the show, and suddenly it becomes something you actually look forward to. Also, surround yourself with people who already have the habits you want. If you want to be a better student, hang out with people who take studying seriously. If you want to be more creative, spend time with artists and creators. We're so influenced by the people around us, often without even realizing it. We pick up their habits, their attitudes, their energy. So choose wisely. The third law is make it easy. This one is huge. We often fail at habits not because we're lazy or lack willpower, but because we make them too hard. James Clear says the key is to reduce friction for good habits and increase friction for bad ones. Want to start exercising? Sleep in your workout clothes. Seriously. When you wake up, you're already dressed. The barrier is gone. Want to stop scrolling through social media before bed? Charge your phone in another room. And here's the thing about starting small. When James Clear wanted to build a reading habit, he didn't say, I'm going to read for an hour every day. He said, I'm going to read 1 page every day. 1 page. That's so easy, it feels almost silly, but that's the point. You're not trying to achieve something in that moment. You're trying to show up. You're trying to prove to yourself that you're the kind of person who reads. Once you show up consistently, increasing the time becomes natural.
There's this beautiful idea called the 2-minute rule. Any habit can be scaled down into a 2-minute version. Want to do yoga? Just roll out your mat. Want to study for an exam? Just open your textbook. Want to write a book? Just write 1 sentence. The hardest part is always starting, but once you start, momentum takes over. You roll out the mat and think, well, I might as well do 1 pose. You open the textbook and think, I might as well read this paragraph. Before you know it, you've done way more than 2 minutes. The 4th law is make it satisfying. We need to feel good about our habits to keep doing them. Our brains are wired to repeat behaviors that feel rewarding. So you've got to create some immediate satisfaction. One simple way is habit tracking. Get a calendar and put a big X on every day you complete your habit. Seeing that chain of X's grow is incredibly satisfying. You don't want to break the chain. It becomes a game. James Clear also talks about the importance of never missing twice. Look, life happens. You're going to mess up. You're going to skip a day. You might get sick or busy or just forget. That's okay. That's being human. But here's the rule. Never miss twice. Missing one time is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new bad habit. So if you skip the gym on Monday, make sure you go on Tuesday. If you forget to read today, do it tomorrow. One mistake is just a mistake. Two mistakes is a pattern. Now let's talk about the dark side, because habits aren't just about building good ones. They're also about breaking bad ones. And bad habits, they're sticky. They feel good in the moment. That's why they're so hard to stop. But you can use these same 4 laws in reverse. Make it invisible. Remove the cues that trigger your bad habits. If you waste too much time on your phone, delete the apps that distract you. If you eat junk food when you're bored, don't keep it in your house. Out of sight, out of mind. Make it unattractive. Focus on the negative consequences. Instead of thinking, I can't have that cookie, think, I don't eat things that make me feel sluggish and tired. Instead of, I can't skip the gym, think, I don't skip workouts because I value my health. Make it difficult. Add friction. If you want to stop staying up late on social media, log out of all your accounts every night. That extra step of logging back in might be just enough to make you think twice. Make it unsatisfying. This is about accountability. Tell someone about your bad habit and ask them to call you out. Or set up a consequence. Every time you do the bad habit, you have to donate money to a cause you don't like. The pain makes the habit less appealing. Here's something else that really stuck with me. The environment you're in is often more important than your motivation or willpower. We like to think we're in control, that we make conscious choices, but so much of what we do is automatic, a reaction to our surroundings. If you're in an environment that makes bad habits easy and good habits hard, you're going to struggle, no matter how motivated you are. James Clear tells this story about how a researcher wanted to get people to use the stairs instead of the elevator. They tried putting up signs about health benefits, didn't work. They tried putting up signs about environmental impact, didn't work. Then they tried something different. They made the stairs more attractive. They painted them, added music, made them fun to use. And suddenly people started taking the stairs. Same people, same building, different environment. So look at your own life. What does your environment say about you? Does your desk invite you to study or distract you with clutter? Does your bedroom help you sleep or keep you awake with bright lights and screens? You can't always control your motivation, but you can always design your environment.
And here's the thing about motivation. We think we need to feel motivated to take action, but James Clear flips this around. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. You don't wait until you feel like going to the gym. You go to the gym, and then you feel motivated. You don't wait until you feel like studying. You start studying, and then the motivation kicks in. Motion creates emotion. There's also this concept called the Goldilocks rule. We're most motivated when we're working on tasks that are right on the edge of our current abilities. Not too hard, not too easy, just right. If something is too easy, we get bored. If it's too hard, we get frustrated. But when it's just challenging enough, we enter this beautiful state of flow where time disappears and we're completely engaged. This is why video games are so addictive. They're designed to keep you in this zone. Every level is just slightly harder than the last. You're constantly progressing, constantly challenged, constantly engaged. The question is, how can you design your habits the same way? How can you make your goals challenging enough to be interesting, but not so hard that you give up? As we get better at our habits, as they become more automatic, there's a risk. We can go on autopilot and stop improving. This is where deliberate practice comes in. You can't just show up and coast. You need to stay present, stay focused, reflect on what's working and what's not. The greatest performers in any field, they don't just practice. They practice with intention. They analyze their mistakes, they push themselves beyond their comfort zone. But here's the beautiful part. Once you understand how habits work, once you see them clearly, you realize you have so much more control than you thought. You're not a victim of your habits. You're the architect. Every day, you're building the person you're becoming, one small choice at a time. Think about where you'll be a year from now if you start today. If you read just 10 pages a day, that's over 3,000 pages a year. That's like 12 books. If you write just 100 words a day, That's 36,000 words a year. That's a novel. If you work out for just 20 minutes a day, by next year, you'll be in the best shape of your life. Small habits don't seem like much in the moment, but they compound into remarkable results. The path to success isn't about making huge changes overnight. It's about making tiny improvements consistently. It's about being 1% better today than you were yesterday, and then doing it again tomorrow and the day after that. It's about falling in love with the process, not just chasing the results. Because here's the truth. You're not going to feel like doing it every day. Some days you'll be tired. Some days you'll be stressed. Some days you just won't want to. And that's exactly when your habits matter most. That's when you prove to yourself who you are. Champions aren't made when things are easy. They're made in those moments when everything in you wants to quit, but you show up anyway. So I want to challenge you. Pick one habit. Just one. Not 10, not 5, just one. Something small enough that you can't fail, and commit to it for 30 days. Track it. Show up every single day, and watch what happens. Watch how that one habit changes not just your actions, but your identity. Watch how it ripples out into other areas of your life. And remember, you're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be consistent. You're not trying to transform overnight. You're trying to compound over time. You're not trying to reach some destination. You're trying to become the kind of person who lives that way. Your life today is essentially the sum of your habits. Your body is a result of your eating habits. Your knowledge is a result of your learning habits. Your relationships are a result of your communication habits. Your financial situation is a result of your spending habits. If you want to change your life, start by changing your habits. Start small. Start today. Start now. Thank you so much for watching. If this resonated with you, if you learned something valuable today, please hit that like button and drop a comment telling me what habit you're going to start building. And if you haven't already, subscribe to Literate Lens because we're on a mission to break down the most powerful books and give you the wisdom that can actually change your life. We've got so many more incredible summaries coming your way. Remember, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So build better systems, build better habits, build a better you, one tiny step at a time. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building those atomic habits.